Welcome back, boys and girls, to Vintage Sports Card Finds. Today we are doing a PSA reveal of some cards I told you way back when that I was going to send into the to PSA, and so we have a little bit to discuss. I sent in 6 cards total. Of the 6 cards, 3 of them were iconic, all-time great players. And I sent them in with the idea, some were for sale, some were just to get slabbed for me. This is not a blind reveal, and the reason it's not a blind reveal is because the friend of mine who owns a card shop in Fall River called Two Lucky Collectibles, that's 2 as in the number 2, Lucky Collectibles. They were the ones who sent it in for PSA and to PSA. He's a member, and he had me do that. I trusted him and had him do it for me. So there were 3 cards I was grading for the purposes of resale, and there were 3 cards I was grading for the purposes of slabbing from my PC. So here are the cards. 2 of them did not get slabbed, and the reason, and we're going to discuss the reasons why they did not get slabbed and what I think of PSA in general. So first and foremost, if you guys remember this card right here, I sent this card in. It was a Wayne Gretzky rookie. It is a Wayne Gretzky rookie. It is a genuine Wayne Gretzky rookie, and PSA seems to agree with that. But they did not slab it because of minimum size requirement. So let me just say this. If the card was not the right size from factory, that's not my problem. It seems ridiculous to not slab a card that is from the factory. It certainly wasn't trimmed, because you would see damaging on the edges. It would stick out like a sore thumb on a card with a blue border. You see the tipped corners there, and the white pops out. This card could not have been trimmed, so they're basically saying, hey, this was sent to you by Topps back in the day, or was made by Topps, and it just did not warrant it. Was not the right size from the get. Nothing I can do about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little experiment and prove that this card, that PSA is full of garbage. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this card back into PSA and watch them slab it. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, this card here is a Rickey Henderson. And they called this card altered. I have no idea what that means. If any of you can tell me what that means, please put it down below in the comments. When I think of an altered card, I think of a card that just did not get, it was tampered with. Somebody colored it in or did something to that effect. Altered, maybe it was crushed in a holder. I don't know what just happened to the light, but it was crushed in a holder. Let's get that light back. There we go. It was crushed in a holder, maybe in a screw down or something, and thus it's been altered from its original state. Here's the problem, PSA. Okay, and I'm not going to be one of those guys who kind of badmouths PSA because I didn't get the grade I wanted. Okay, that's not who I am. What I don't like is when they arbitrarily make stuff up. So this particular Rickey Henderson was probably taken out of the packs. If I know the guy I bought this from, and I think I do, it was taken out of the packs in 1980, put in a top loader, and forgotten about forever. And I'm going to show you the evidence of that in a minute. So this Rickey Henderson came out of the same batch and was stored the exact same way as this Rickey Henderson. So this one came back a PSA 7. Now, I sent 3 Rickey Hendersons in. The 3 Rickey Hendersons in, I bought a lot. I'll include the video to the link. I'll include the link to the video in the description below. It was the biggest sports card buy I've ever had. And, it required a U-Haul to get it out of there. But there were 11 Rickey Hendersons. I was very selective in which ones I chose to send to PSA. I thought 3 had a shot at a 9. This one obviously got a 7. Maybe you guys can comment as to why you think it got a 7. Maybe it's surface issues because it's not corners. Maybe a little ding there in this corner down here. I don't know. But nonetheless, I'm okay with a 7 grade. It is what it is. This one will end up on eBay for anybody who's interested. Then I got this one. Better. Rickey Henderson, PSA 8. So this one here, looked nice. Now, I've seen PSA 8s and 7s on eBay that are grossly off-center. Like 2575 or 30 or 3070. And they got 7s and 8s. I think the centering on this card is pretty legit. But they say no. Maybe it's that spot from the factory that I don't know exactly what PSA, what goes on at that place. But here it is. It's a Rickey Henderson 8. So I was hoping for 9s. I got an 8, a 7, and a sorry, but this card is altered. Here's the problem I have with that general philosophy. Now, that other Rickey Henderson, I'm not going to resubmit it with them. I'm just going to, if I do send it to anybody else, send it to SGC. It'll look nicer in an SGC holder, but whatevs. The bottom line is they were all stored the same way. They came out of the same collection with all 11 Rickey Hendersons in exactly the same scenario. They were all stored the exact same way. So I question why it got the grade, not why it got the grade that it got, but why it was considered altered. But nonetheless, we move on. These were, now, the reason I submitted these, and I waited a long time to submit these, I wanted to submit these as soon as I purchased these cards. And as I told you before, I purchased the Gretzky, the Jordan, and the Mantle together. But I didn't submit it because at the time PSA was charging $300 for submission. So we're going to try one last time for the light. And there we go. So that brings us to our next one. What I wanted from the Jordan, the Mantle, and the Gretzky was, I thought they were going to grade better than average. They would grade higher than 5s, I thought. And what I wanted was just to have them slabbed. So I'm absolutely happy with these next 2 grades. First of all, they're what I thought they were. So this one here is a Michael Jordan rookie sticker, 86 Flair Jordan rookie sticker, number 8, in a PSA excellent to mid 6. So this is what I thought this card was going to get, a 6. I said, first of all, with Jordan, they don't give away nonsensical grades. So this thing better, shoot its own hoops if it's going to get a 10 or a 9 or something like that. Plus, this card was off-center. I mean, top to bottom, it's clearly that was the thing. When I bought the card, I knew that it was off-center, top to bottom, and that it very nice-looking card. Great corners, solid, very strong edges. Surface looks good. Right? The surface looks good. I just knew that the problem this card would have would be the top to bottom centering. I was hoping maybe it could come back a 7 because all of the other aspects of the card were really, really good. But I kind of resigned myself to the 6. I kind of just assumed that was going to be the case. And that's what I got. So I'm absolutely ecstatic with this grade. It's what I wanted. And I got the card holdered, which is what I wanted. Now it's protected, safe for all eternity or until I sell it. And then lastly, but not least, in a month where Mickey Mantle breaks records and now someone is on the verge of breaking Roger Maris's Yankees record for home runs. The 1964 Topps Mickey Mantle, and I know this is one of the more common mantles, but in an excellent to mint 6. Again, with this card, I had the same feeling that this card was off center, so it was going to be hurt by that. But the edges, the corners, the surface were very strong, and I thought maybe a 7, but I'd be happy with a 6, which is what I thought I was going to get. But of course, after watching a number of PSA reveals from other people on YouTube, I thought to myself, geez, they just don't like handing out higher grades for vintage unless these things are immaculate. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to try to get an 8 or a 9 or a 10 in vintage cards. I mean, if I looked at this card, obviously I would definitely notice it's off center. Okay, it's clear, both left to right and top to bottom. It's off center. And that's what got me thinking these guys are going to give me a 5 for this, but they didn't. They gave me a 6. So here's a couple of morals of the story. All right, so that's Michael Jordan, and I guess the next I would have wanted it to be Wayne Gretzky's rookie, but it's not. Instead, we're going to put in right here Rickey Henderson, PSA 8. So some morals to the story. Moral number 1. What I wanted was for the 3 great iconic cards to be graded. You know, a Mantle, a Gretzky rookie, a Jordan rookie. Those were the cards I wanted to have graded. Then I was hoping that I could get at least all 8s on the others, but that didn't happen. So bottom line is I was happy with the grade. I am going to say one more thing about the Mantle. The Mantle, I thought the Gretzky would grade. I thought we'd have no problem having the Gretzky grade. I thought the Mantle was the real question. The Mantle when I bought it, it came in one of those old press down holders. And my fear was that this thing has been pressed for however long it had been, and it was going to be no good. Not that the card wasn't legit. I knew that was the case, but that it was going to be altered or not grade. And then I would end up having to send it off to SGC. Alas, that's not the case. So what happens here now is that, in fact, it's the Gretzky that doesn't grade and the Mantle grades. And I'm shocked that those cards came back and were not holdered. Other than that, grades, 7, 8, I think it's all arbitrary. I think that any grading company for the most part is full of crap, and that whether it's a PSA 8, a PSA 7, a PSA 9, it depends on what kind of day Bobby's having and what kind of breakfast Jack ate, and if it's sitting well with him. This is all subjective. I don't believe there is a science to this. I believe that you can send off the nicest card on God's green earth that I would buy from you in a second, because I think it is also the nicest card on God's green earth, raw. And I believe that PSA could send it back to you with a 6. That's what I think. And this experience, the number grades are good. And I was 2 off on the first Henderson. I was 1 off on the second Henderson. I was correct about the Mantle. I was correct about the Jordan. So the number grade wasn't really a big deal. I'm more concerned with a Rickey Henderson that I know was stored properly, and they're calling altered. Clearly, this isn't like a 1971 Topps card where somebody colored in with a Sharpie the black border to make it more black and to hide, dings or edge problems. Well, that's it. I would love to hear your opinion on any and all of this. What did you think about the grades on the cards? Did you think they should have gotten better grades? Do you think they should have gotten lesser grades? I'm curious what you think about that. I'm curious what you think about the issues of them being holdered and not holdered. A couple of things before I go. Number one, I'm going to include a link to 2 Lucky Collectibles in the description. So please check out their Instagram and check out some of the different stuff that they're doing on their website and in their shop if you're in the Fall River, Massachusetts area. Secondly, I'm going to include the original video of when I showed these cards, of when I made the purchases, etc. There's 2 of them. They'll be linked below. If you enjoy the content, please comment, like, share, subscribe. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I certainly appreciate the support from all those who are trying to get our little channel off the ground. I love talking cards, man. I had to do this as not a blind reveal. I had to do this as a previously viewed reveal by me anyway, because the day I heard about the cards now being graded, I was not a happy camper. So I made the executive producer decision that day that I'm going to do this as just a reveal of the PSA cards that I got back, so that I don't sound like a crazed lunatic on YouTube. YouTube has plenty of crazed lunatics. They don't need my help. So, again, comment, like, share, subscribe. We welcome you. We want to do more content like this. I don't know how many more cards I'll be sending to PSA, but I'll probably be sending some. And I will definitely be sending some cards off to SGC. So, until then, happy hunting, guys. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.